If your rice comes out mushy, sticky, dry, or just plain boring, it's not your fault. Most people were taught to cook rice the wrong way, and once you see why, you won't be able to unsee it. Stay with me because one small change can completely transform your rice forever. Rice is one of the most common foods in the world. People eat it for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and sometimes all three in the same day. It shows up in healthy meal plans, fitness diets, comfort food, and quick weeknight dinners. Yet so many people struggle to cook it right. The funny part is that cooking rice looks simple. Add rice, add water, turn on the heat, and wait. That's what we're told. But if it were really that easy, we wouldn't be scraping burnt rice off the bottom of pots or eating clumpy bowls that feel heavy and bland. The truth is, rice is sensitive. It reacts to water, heat, time, and even how you touch it. Small mistakes can change the texture, taste, and even how your body digests it. And yes, the way you cook rice can affect how full or sluggish you feel afterward. Today, we're breaking down the biggest reasons your rice isn't turning out right. We'll talk about what most people do wrong, what actually matters, and how to fix it without fancy tools or complicated steps. By the end of this video, rice will stop being a gamble and start being something you actually look forward to eating. Let's start with the first big mistake almost everyone makes, and that's treating all rice the same. White rice, brown rice, jasmine, basmati, sushi rice, wild rice, and parboiled rice are not the same food. They absorb water differently, cook at different speeds, and react differently to heat. Yet so many people use the same method for every type. Same pot, same water amount, same timing. That's like cooking chicken, fish, and steak the exact same way and expecting great results. It just doesn't work. White rice cooks faster because the outer layer is removed. Brown rice still has the bran, which takes longer to soften. Jasmine rice releases more starch, while basmati stays fluffier. When you ignore these differences, you end up with rice that's either undercooked or falling apart. Another major mistake is skipping the rinse. A lot of people think rinsing rice is optional or just an old tradition that doesn't matter. But that cloudy water you see when you rinse rice is excess starch. Too much starch is what makes rice sticky, gummy, and heavy. Rinsing rice removes that surface starch so the grains can cook separately. You don't need to scrub it like you're washing clothes. Just rinse until the water runs mostly clear. This one habit alone can make your rice lighter and fluffier. Now let's talk about water, because this is where things really go off the rails. Most people rely on a fixed ratio, like 2 cups of water for 1 cup of rice. While that can work sometimes, it's not always accurate. Different rice types absorb water at different rates. Even the age of the rice matters. Older rice is drier and needs more water. Newer rice needs less. Using a strict ratio without paying attention leads to soggy or crunchy rice. Heat is another big issue. A lot of people cook rice on high heat the entire time. They want it done fast, so they crank it up and walk away. What happens is the water boils too aggressively. The outside of the rice overcooks, and the inside doesn't get enough time to soften evenly. Rice likes gentle heat. Once it boils, it needs a steady simmer, not a rolling boil. Think calm bubbles, not chaos. This helps the rice absorb water slowly and evenly. Then there's the lid problem. Lifting the lid while rice is cooking lets steam escape. Steam is part of the cooking process. Every time you peek, you change the temperature and moisture inside the pot. Rice needs consistency. Once the lid is on, leave it alone. No stirring, no checking, no poking. Just trust the process. Another common mistake is stirring rice while it cooks. This breaks the grains and releases more starch, which leads to a sticky texture. Stirring feels helpful, but with rice, it does more harm than good. Seasoning is another area where people go wrong. Many people add salt at the end, or worse, not at all. Rice absorbs flavor as it cooks. If you wait until it's done, the seasoning just sits on the outside. A pinch of salt in the water makes a big difference. You can also use broth instead of water for extra flavor, especially if rice is the main part of your meal. Now let's talk about time, because timing rice is more art than math. People often undercook rice because they're impatient or overcook it because they forget about it. Both lead to bad results. Rice doesn't always follow the clock, it follows texture. When the water is absorbed and the grains are tender but not mushy, it's done. Learning to recognize that moment changes everything. And here's something most people never think about. Letting rice rest after cooking is just as important as cooking it. When you turn off the heat and let the rice sit covered for 5 to 10 minutes, the steam redistributes and finishes the cooking gently. Skipping the rest makes rice wetter and uneven. Resting makes it fluffier and more balanced. Now let's bring health into the conversation, because this is where it gets interesting. The way you cook rice can affect how it impacts your blood sugar. Overcooked rice breaks down more, which can cause quicker spikes. Slightly firmer rice digests more slowly and keeps you full longer. Cooling rice after cooking and reheating it later can also change its structure. This creates resistant starch, which acts more like fiber in the body. That can support better gut health and steadier energy levels. This doesn't mean rice is bad, it just means cooking it with intention makes a difference. Another mistake people make is choosing the wrong pot. Thin pots heat unevenly and cause hot spots, which leads to burnt bottoms and uneven cooking. A heavy bottom pot distributes heat better and gives you more control. Using the right size pot matters too. Too small and the rice clumps and overflows. Too big and the water evaporates too fast. And let's not forget rice cookers. Some people rely on them completely without understanding what they do. Rice cookers are great, but they still need the right water, the right rice, and sometimes a rinse. They're not magic boxes. Even with a rice cooker, rinsing and measuring properly still matter. Now here's the big reveal, the thing that most people never realize. Rice doesn't need to be measured like a science experiment. The most reliable method used around the world isn't a ratio at all. It's the knuckle method. You add rice to the pot, rinse it, level it out, then add water until it reaches about 1 knuckle above the rice. That's it. No measuring cups, no math. This works because rice only absorbs a certain amount of water. The rest evaporates. Once you understand that, rice stops being intimidating. Combine this with gentle heat, no stirring, proper resting and rinsing, and suddenly rice becomes simple again. Fluffy, separate, light, flavorful. The secret isn't a gadget or a brand of rice. It's understanding how rice behaves and working with it instead of fighting it. So let's bring it all together. Most people cook rice wrong because they rush it, overthink it, or ignore the basics. Treating all rice the same, skipping the rinse, using too much heat, lifting the lid, and skipping the rest all add up to disappointing results. When you slow down, rinse your rice, use gentle heat, trust steam, and let it rest, rice becomes simple again. And when you cook it with intention, it tastes better, feels lighter, and works better with your body. Rice doesn't need to be boring or stressful, it just needs a little respect. If this video helped you, hit that like button so more people can stop ruining perfectly good rice. Subscribe for more simple health and cooking tips that actually work. And drop a comment below and tell me, what kind of rice do you eat most often? White, brown, jasmine, or basmati? I'll see you in the next video.